Welcome back. It is 5:13 and just take a look at that fog out there. It is very thick. This is US 27. You can see the headlights going. I remember low beams going to be your friend. I mean, usually you can see pretty far up the road into the ridge. But as we take a look at your visibility here, below zero. Well, it can't be below zero, but it's at zero in Dayton, 1 mile in Chattanooga, 1 mile in Blue Ridge, but I would say it's pretty close to zero here in North Chattanooga looking at US 27. So the big story this morning is going to be that thick fog. I would encourage you to give yourself a few extra minutes. If you're having your coffee, kind of lounging around before work or taking the kids to school, you might want to get ready a little bit early. Leave the house 5 minutes before time just so you can be safe out there. And again, you might run into a slowdown or two with some of that thick fog. The rain is ended though, so that's one good thing. So at least we're not dealing with the rain and fog, it's just the fog. But we did get some much needed rain yesterday evening, anywhere from about 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch on average. And as we take a look at your temperatures, generally in the 40s, Dayton, Murphy in the upper 30s, but this is about where we're going to stay the next several hours. And then temperatures will start to fall off this evening as colder air slowly starts to move in from the north. Now, this will happen first along the plateau and some of the higher elevations, and then those valley areas will start to drop off into the 30s right around sunset, and we could even have a few flurries here, I would say between about 5 p.m. and 10 p.m., especially north and east of Chattanooga. Now, I'm not expecting this to be, a big deal, but there could be a light dusting in spots, and I'll let you know who here in just a second. But let's first take a look at our in-house model. Again, through the morning, just going to be about the fog. Then I would say later this afternoon, as that cold air starts to crash down a little bit, could have a few flurries in Van Buren, Grundy, Sequatchie counties. And then as we get into the late evening, after about 6 p.m. or so, we're starting to see signs that there could be a little bit of moisture. There's going to be a weak system diving just to our south, and that could loft in a few flakes here locally. Parts of Ray, Meigs, McMinn, Monroe counties, again, primarily to the north and east of Chattanooga. Even Bradley and Polk County could get a few flakes. Shouldn't be a big deal, but it is something worth noting because we could have some light accumulations. I would say maybe up to a dusting. So again, not going to be a huge deal. And then by tomorrow, we should be just about dried out and cold air is going to stick around. So here's a look at that light snow. Again, parts of McMinn, maybe northern Meigs, into Monroe and northern Polk counties, maybe even a few flakes down into Bradley County, anywhere from a dusting to maybe 1/2 of an inch, depending on how all this develops. So it shouldn't be a big deal, but again, some of our areas could see just a little bit of a light snow or flurry action later today. But this one's for your warm weather fans. Let's not talk about the flakes anymore. The warm weather that's on the way. Next 6 to 10 days, trending above normal. And look at this. Not too warm through about, we'll say Saturday, but Sunday's the turning point. And by mid next week, I'd say there's a pretty good chance we could get close to 70 degrees. So that's something to look forward to. So again, outside of the flurry chances later today, really not expecting too much in the way of active weather over the next 7 days. A little bit cooler tomorrow, and we're kind of going to be up and down the next several days, but we finally move forward into the 60s and maybe even the 70s Tuesday. And just thinking about those wind chills right around zero a couple days ago, I'm pretty happy about it. I don't know about you.
Absolutely. I will take all of the sunshine and warmer weather we can get.
Yeah, we're going to get plenty of it here in the next 2 weeks, I think.
All right. Thank you so much, Clay.